Hello and welcome again to another episode of One Starfish, where our mission is to change the world one starfish or one person at a time. As always, guys, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, all the things. That's how we get the word out. We got some amazing guests that come on this podcast, which I'm really, really grateful for. Our guest today is Dan. He just moved from Colorado to Montana, so he's actually close to where I'm at, which is pretty cool. I love Montana. Big sky country, and him and his family's got 2 daughters. They have a company called Licks, and they help create, let's see if I can get this, hard to digest things into absorbable things like vitamins, CBD, mushrooms, I guess, all of that kind of good stuff. So excited to learn more about that on the show. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about Licks. You started about 5 years ago. Why did you get started in it? What was kind of one of the events that got you from past job of engineering, he said, to running your own company? And what? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, most recently with Licks, I guess the precipice for it, I was working for a company. I started consulting for them and trying to improve their operations. And they kind of hired me in, and I was a minor investor there. They're actually the company that the technology originally came from, and I left there in 2018 and licensed the technology from them. And then subsequently, they were purchased by a company that you probably are well aware of, Canopy Growth Corporation. And part of that was to get rid of this, any licenses or anything that were associated. And our agreement was written well enough that we didn't have to get rid of that. So they essentially kind of gave us the license. So us and Licks and Canopy Growth are the only companies that have access to the technology. It's patented, not patent pending, which is wonderful. And have been doing that since. Started with a business partner, and then as some of those relationships go, it wasn't the best fit and wasn't the best partnership. And so spent some time conveniently during COVID trying to get out of that and end that relationship and all of that, and have been doing it on my own since.
That's awesome. So what are some of the things that you had to overcome in order to start to build a successful business?
Still overcoming, but yeah, the business partner aspect was a lot of it. Different directions and different levels of, we'll say, investment, both from a time and money standpoint. And just kind of creating a new industry and a new space. Our technology basically works. We started kind of more in the cannabis or CBD space, and have kind of branched out. We use the term active ingredients because the technology works so well with just about everything. So I'm getting a process started right now with some potential clients in the nutraceutical space, trying to make magnesium gummies and things like that are going to be more bioavailable for people. But it works in any oil. We've all been taught our whole lives oil and water don't mix, and they do. So our technology basically takes the molecule and encapsulates it and makes it a small enough pathway that it can break the blood-brain and blood-skin barrier. So you can put it in cosmetics, foods, beverages, and you can do that, like I said, with oils. You can do that with vitamins, minerals, and things of that nature. So it helps stuff better absorb into the body.
That's cool. So when you started your company about 5 years ago, you had family support? Did you have friend support? Did you go through any of that? A lot of people go through where friends and family aren't super supportive. They think it's crazy. I mean, you were probably doing really well in the engineering world. It's not a bad industry to be in.
Yeah.
And then going out and starting your own business, what kind of struggles did you go through as far as, associations and friends and family maybe not supporting you, or was everyone super supportive?
I mean, I think a mixed bag. So, definitely some people with support. I've always been kind of a contrarian in my life. And so, I've had challenges in different industries and different worlds of dealing with the bosses and things like that. So, I feel like it was a good transition to do that. Um, Pretty decent support, I guess. Generally, I have a sister that's certainly a little more conservative in the that she's the oldest sibling, so she kind of fits that personality type. But if you read about people like that, so a little more conservative of that. She's always been kind of more of a big corporate person, and puts a lot more value in that. But my dad was also an entrepreneur for a good chunk of his career, so pretty good support and stuff there. He was actually a investor in our company early on. So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what about, I mean, obviously we met through RTA, so what about personal development? Have you been always in that space, or, when did you get started in personal development?
Uh, I mean, I would say in what you're referring to as personal development, that space, has probably been more so in the last year and a half or so, maybe 2 years. I've always been somebody that's tried to be pretty healthy and make pretty decent choices. I would say there's time period in probably my 20s where that wasn't always the case. A little more drinking and things like that than probably should have done, but I've always worked out and always done that type of stuff. And then, I kind of found RTA maybe kind of more of a back doorway than most people maybe would find it. Had a friend of mine that actually, found and started doing the 75 hard program. And, he reached out to me and was like, hey, you like, doing stupid stuff. Like, do you want to do this, program that's hard, kind of be a partner in the pain and suffering. And so did that. And then, as I was doing that, I found, a podcast, and I found, some of the stuff around that, and then kind of started listening to the podcast there.
Awesome. And what got you into like, what intrigued you by the podcast, and then, to get you to start with, what intrigued you to continue?
Yeah, I mean, Andy says and seems to believe in a lot of the same things that I do. A lot of the state of our country and the world. A lot of the just trying to do better and be better. The personal excellence thing, and so I've been working um, to try to do that, try to be a better person, and try to make improvements in my life. You can see the reddish tint and light right now, so I've got kind of like a red light happening because we don't get a lot of sunlight in northwest Montana in the winter, and so even just doing some of that kind of stuff. So it just resonated with me, kind of where we were at with all the COVID stuff happening, and kind of opening my eyes up to the world a little bit more. So, like I said, I was in the pharmaceutical industry, and I believe they do a lot of really good things, but I also can see a lot of the downside of what they do, and that they're not necessarily looking for cures for things as much as they're looking to get you on something for the rest of your life. So
And what do you feel is something that can be done to start to change that?
I think we need some pretty big sweeping changes at this point. I I don't know the best way to go other than starting and trying to be the best person I can be, and trying to kind of be contagious in doing that. Try to reach out, get people involved. Not being the whole silent majority thing, like I think we were kind of all tricked into in the past. So just when there's a problem, you try to fix it. If I see somebody on the side of the road that's got a flat tire, I have the ability, I can try to help them. And so if you see somebody that's, maybe making some wrong decisions in life, you can either walk by it or you can stop and try to help.
What are some things that you feel that you're working on to try to change?
On me personally or my community or,
Yeah, you
what?
personally, like what are you working towards?
Um, just I try to get better every day. I mean, really, that's what I've tried to introduce new aspects or new things. I've been doing, everything from kind of as an engineer, I'm, usually pretty logical about things and believe more in, fact and stuff. But I have been grounding and doing things like that where I'm standing outside barefoot, which is fun in the winter in Montana. Um, but doing that type of stuff, trying to be grateful and thankful for my life and my friends and family and community, and just trying to be more positive, do more things like that, make better decisions with foods. Finding the right supplements and vitamins, and trying to be knowledgeable and know what's going on, but also not get sucked into the kind of woe is me world that we can get into sometimes.
What do you feel specifically is, you've talked about the pharmaceutical companies. What are you trying to do to start to shift that environment?
Well, I mean, that's part of what Licks is about. Um, and so, I can provide something for somebody that they can, take and make into a product, make into a supplement that works. There's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't work. There's a lot of snake oil and things like that. We've all taken, like a B complex vitamin that says, oh, it's got 5,000% of your, recommended daily allowance of these B vitamins. And then you think you're getting all of that, but we all have done it. And then you have neon yellow pea and you're like, well, maybe I'm not quite absorbing the vitamins that I think I am. So, Licks is a technology that works. I can stand behind it and feel good about it. And it can take and make some of those things that, kind of are snake oil or are touting benefits that it's not providing, and it can help provide those things.
So that people can use less pharmaceuticals. Is that kind of the goal?
Yeah, so people can use less of that stuff. People can use less of those, nasty ingredients. Get off of some of the bad pharmaceutical drugs that are causing problems. Um, Being able to eat a healthier diet and do those kinds of things.
That's awesome. Very cool. I love it. What are some of the things that you think would help someone, if they want to get into something like that, like you're inventing something kind of new and all of that? What were some things that, got you where, like I said, got you where you're at as far as like mindset? Was it associations? Like I'm trying to really dig into what created this idea. And how can someone copy it? What are some tangible things that you did to start to build a business completely different, to start to revolutionize an industry? If someone's like, I want to revolutionize whatever industry, what are some things that you think they need to do or read or whatever, that could help them do that?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is be curious. Be looking for knowledge and trying to find, um, stuff that's out there. We all get stuck in our daily life, and before you know it, a day goes by, a week goes by, a month goes by, a year goes by, and then you're like, holy crap, how did I get old? And why did none of the things I wanted to do get done? So I think be curious and try to learn things. Be intentional with your day. Um, and really, I kind of have the mindset of things of like, look around and, see what things that cause you a hassle in your life and what things are frustrating to you, and see if there's a solution you can come up with to improve upon those. I mean, I have 2 young daughters, and people have used those little. We're well out of that stage now, but people have used those little food bibs for, I don't even know, a millennia. Like, how long have you been trying to keep food off of a baby? And somebody decided that they're going to take that food bib and they made it into a pouch that catches all the food instead of it just falling on the ground. It's like, how simple of an idea is that? And it kind of revolutionizes some of people's day. So look for those opportunities.
Good. Look for the opportunities. I love it. So I always keep these kind of short and sweet. So in wrapping up, I always ask 3 final questions, but then anything that we didn't touch on that you think would be really impactful for our listeners to hear going forward, we'll wrap up with that. But 3 final questions. Number 1, if someone is looking for their purpose, what's one word or sentence that you could say that could help them find their purpose?
Start with what you love to do. Start with, areas of interest and things of that nature. That'd be my advice.
Okay. Number 2, what's a favorite quote and why?
Favorite quote, I'm gonna have to bring up my actual email to see what it is, but it's a quote from, I think, Albert Einstein, and it's, "The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything."
Good one. And number 3, and final question is, what's one word or sentence you would want on your gravestone?
I don't know if I'm going to have a gravestone. Word or sentence I want on my gravestone.
How do you want to be remembered?
Loving father.
I love it. So you run into someone in a coffee shop and they're like, "Hey, Dan, I'm going to start following my passion, to look for things that are opportunities to that maybe are out there to revolutionize industry." What's something we didn't touch on today that you think we really should touch on that would be impactful for our listeners?
Well, of course, it would be that Licks makes everything better. So
I love it. Awesome, guys.
That's our tagline. So
Licks makes everything better. I love it. So, guys, everything will be in the show notes. If you have any questions on anything, definitely reach out to Dan. We'll have all his information there too. As always, guys, let's go out. If we could change one life or one starfish at a time together, we can change the world. Thanks for being on.
Thank you.